for diversity training, which does absolutely no good. You know, we can't train no racism out of no damn body, please. An employee, singer Sandy, called security to make sure I wasn't stealing, SZA wrote. The store replied, saying that it was actively working with our teams to address the situation immediately. And that, you know, and she's a celebrity, and look at how they treated her. When it comes down to us, it really don't matter. You can be an athlete, you can be a rapper, you can be just an ordinary person with a 9-to-5 job, and you get treated the same way. It doesn't matter. The new Sephora study said a lack of top-down systemic diversity affected minority customer shopping experience. Yeah, I would say so. And, you know, and a lot of times your employees get away with that because they got managers over them that will allow that kind of stuff. And they feel the same way that they feel about people in the Black community. The report also noted that, Black shoppers felt their shopping experience was informed by reactions to their skin tone and ethnicity, while shoppers who had a negative experience based on skin color would be unlikely to report it. 3 in 5 minority customers said they would be unlikely to return to shop where they experience discrimination. Now, you know, we don't call ourselves minority, but, you know, this is what the article says. Sephora has issued a series of pledges, including doubling the amount of Black-owned brands it will stock, a zero-tolerance policy on discrimination, and a new company-wide greeting system focused on attempting to create shared experience for all customers. Irrespective to race, Sephora diversity, equality, and inclusion have been our core values since we launched a new kind of beauty retail destination in the U.S. for over 20 years. And yeah, you claim all this diversity and inclusion, and you don't discriminate, and yet discrimination has gone nonstop in America. It has never ended. But the reality is the shoppers at Sephora and the U.S. retail more broadly was not always treated fairly and consistently. That is very true. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? It's all about that dollar. And see, the brick and mortar stores are now seeing they stand to lose without that black dollar. That's the only reason why you see something like this coming out now. They know they're losing. They're losing that customer, and they lose that money. You know, no matter how much we are hated, disliked, looked upon, that black dollar is still what they want. It's the same dollar that people they favor are spending in the stores. So they still want that dollar. That's why you're seeing something like that being written. You know, people are still going out there. They have to work and have to get things done in their life. Despite the fact that there's a pandemic, you still got to live. And in some instances, you can't get everything done from your house. And in those instances, you're going to have to venture out. So the more rotten they treat us, the more less they're going to see us in their retail stores buying, you know. And just from the beginning of the pandemic all the way to now, I know even my relatives, they try to go out as little as possible. They're more inclined to look after their health and safety first before worrying about going into retailers, chances are, that are not even black owned, and you're spending your dollar there just to be treated like crap. You know, a lot of people are now fed up, and they're not willing to deal with that anymore. If they can have something delivered to their door, that's what they'll do. So at the end of the day, you're screwing us over, but you're also screwing yourself out of money when you treat your black customers like that in the store. Yeah, you know, Gabriella, that's one thing. I wish there were more black businesses around me. Unfortunately, they're not. You know, most of the retailers around here are primarily white. We have, of course, you know, the Arab and East Indian stores, and you got the Asians with their stores and their restaurants and stuff, but very few retailers that are black. And, you know, and that's a really unfortunate thing. I wish I could find a lot more. Now, one thing I did find some coffee shops, quite a few actually. A lot of black people are in the coffee business around me. And you can find a lot of, especially husband-wife teams that have teamed up together and they got a coffee shop, or even father and son. You know, there's a black father and son, and they run a coffee shop. You know, and you know, that's really relatively cheap to get set up. You can get a coffee shop set up for about 20 grand if you are able to come up with the money and run that yourself. Now, that I can find, but, you know, and there, of course, there are black restaurants, but as far as a lot of black retailers, there are not a lot around me. And the sad part is where I am is predominantly black, but not a lot of black retailers. And that is a really unfortunate thing. But, you know, it's not entirely our fault. You know, even with good credit, these banks don't want to loan you anything for business. So we have pretty much been shut out heavily in, you know, all kinds of industries. You saw what they did with marijuana. They just squeezed us out altogether and just priced us out by making everything completely unaffordable. But, you know, there are still opportunities online that black people can take advantage of. We can do that as long as you have a good supplier or you're able to make the products yourself. You know, then yes, then there's a possibility you can just run it from your house and make some good money. So, hey, at the end of the day, who are they really hurting? They're hurting themselves. You know, and like I said, retailers can speak up when these things happen, and that's one thing we never said, you know, in the past. When we're getting harassed by police or other customers or even store employees, these retailers need to speak up on the behalf of their black customers, or otherwise they should lose their black customers. They don't say enough. These little cookie cutter statements about we uphold diversity. No, you don't. Because if you really upheld diversity, you wouldn't have those kind of employees in there. Okay, a bunch of races working for you. No, you don't uphold it. You just say these things when you get caught. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I wanted to show you. You know, it's interesting the things that are happening today, you know, and now we can look at the media and they're using domestic terrorists, white supremacists, white extremists. Boy, when were we going to ever see that happen? We're seeing that a lot now. We didn't see that before. So tomorrow is the inauguration. Let's see if anything jumps off, or it'll be just a quiet affair. You know, I did see all the moving trucks taking Trump stuff down to Florida, but we'll see what kind of transition it really will be. You know, it definitely will be interesting. So everybody, please enjoy the rest of your evening, and just look out for my upcoming videos. That, you know, a few of them will be published after midnight. And just put your comments in like you always do. I love reading y'all comments, and I do read through them. I do. So everybody, peace, family.